Team Liquid's turn to ban. Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
VIRTUS.PRO's turn to ban. Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome back, one and all, here to the last chance qualifiers, the second day of the group stages where we will be determining who is going to be going to TI, earning those 2 slots. As it stands right now, Team Liquid earlier on were able to dispatch Wildcard Gaming in pretty easy fashion, and now here they are taking on the side of Virtus.PRO, a much more significant challenge and a very important one, because if Team Liquid can win this game, one game is all they need to guarantee an upper bracket berth. Erstwhile, Virtus.PRO, if they can win their 2 games, that's their guarantee all the way into the upper bracket of the playoffs. My name is Snem, we're joined by Kezu, and we're getting into these squads here. Team Liquid versus Virtus.PRO. We of course just saw Team Liquid playing out earlier here, Kezu. What do you make of this? After yesterday, we saw Virtus.PRO in action twice back-to-back. Do they have what it takes to take down Team Liquid today?
Honestly, these teams are both looking very strong. I think this is going to be one of the hypest and like most close matchups that we're going to see in this maybe even entire group. Virtus.PRO looking very good. We haven't seen them yet today. We have seen Liquid and they looked phenomenal. But if anyone is going to give Liquid a run for their money and potentially even beat them, it's going to be Virtus.PRO.
It's kind of bizarre, isn't it? The fact that we're looking at Team Liquid right now, preparing, getting ready for a last chance qualifier game against Virtus.PRO. This is the kind of booking that you imagine on the main stage, some top 8 matchup going deeper into TI itself. It's weird to think that there's a strong possibility that one or both of these squads won't be at TI at all. So it's going to be very entertaining to see exactly the caliber of Dota that they bring to us today. Of course, we've seen Team Liquid in action today. They need an opponent, and their opponent, Virtus.PRO. They've just recently come back under their main banner. It's a squad that has, generally speaking, done very well throughout the years, but only somewhat falters at TI itself. It's going to be interesting to see if they can make it all the way this time around and change that kind of history. One thing I just want to quickly note about Virtus.PRO, they have not had a single game that doesn't involve Undying. They've picked it 4 times, they played against it once, and they've had it banned against them once. Every single game that VP has been playing has involved Undying in some capacity. By now, they have to know this hero by the back of their hearts, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Undying is in every game. Also, they had this exact same opening yesterday against Extreme Gaming that we're going to be seeing very shortly. So I love, like, a lot of this preparation that goes into these games is always like super cool to see. Because as I said, I think both these teams, they're running very hot right now. And Virtus.PRO, I really also like the way that they structure some of their drafts. It's usually like, it seems very logical. There's a lot of synergy. Like your picks, they usually just make sense together and they play very cohesive and as a team. Kind of what we saw from Liquid in the prior series just now.
Absolutely.
VIRTUS.PRO's
Whenever their drafts do
turn
come
to
together from
ban.
VP, it just makes sense. You just look at it and you're like, I understand completely why you would do this. Now we do have the draft on our hands though. Team Liquid, they started things off by removing the Enigma and taking out the Beastmaster as well. VP, of course, you're playing against Team Liquid. You have to ban Marcy. You probably have to ban the Matumba Man Lone Druid as well, so that makes complete sense to me. But I really want to talk about this opener. Team Liquid, they're actually the ones that choose to stick with the Undying, despite the fact that they had access to the Nyx assassin. Talk to me about this. Why pick up the Undying instead of Nyx, given that Team Liquid looks so strong with the boxy Nyx assassin? Is it just because VP are a little bit too good with the Undying?
5 seconds
I
remaining.
think it's probably more about the fact that first pick Undying just seems very strong, whereas if you get your hands on the Nyx later, he's of course super strong in that position. I would assume that they just feel more comfortable with the Undying and that they prep for this exact same opening, because what I was mentioning earlier is yesterday when Extreme Gaming picked Undying first pick against VIRTUS.PRO, they did this exact same opening with Nyx Shadow Fiend. So I think that Liquid came prepared into this match. They knew that there's a very high chance of this happening, and they go for the Faceless Void on the closing pick of the first phase. Now, mind you that they have already banned Beastmaster in the first phase, who's a very good hero against Faceless Void. And now the following bans also, you can tell that preparation was done here. Venomancer very good against both Void and Undying in the lane. Similarly with Viper. And VIRTUS.PRO yesterday, they opened their next phase with Silencer. So 3, if not even 4, absolutely well put bans here coming out from Team Liquid.
They knew exactly what they were doing, protecting their own heroes and denying VP access to their best strategies. VP, of course, clearly have also been paying attention, as not only have we seen the Matu Lone Druid remove, not only is Marcy gone, but the Mika Invoker, which just ran havoc over the side of Wildcard Gaming just a couple minutes ago. They're like, yeah, we don't really want to deal with that ourselves, so we're going to remove it. And we just want to make sure that we have the easiest way to play the whole map. I love this. We were talking about how the Shadow Fiend, oftentimes he looks really, really good when he has a lane partner or just another hero in the game that buffs him up and enables him further. Vengeful Spirit, certainly one of the best in the business at doing that. We saw yesterday the impact that Vengeful Spirit can have in these games, quick access to the Roshans, save potential, and just buffing up your overall damage physically. So this is a good duo between these two heroes, and it's not like they sacrificed map mobility, right? Because they still have this Nyx assassin to cover that aspect of things. Yeah,
so the Venge pick is here very good with your SF and against Void. Now Liquid, they need to kind of address this pick. These two heroes, Nyx, Venge, again, you oftentimes have supports that lack against the same thing. So if you're Liquid, there's a very high chance here you're looking at something that overruns them. Nyx and Vengeful, they don't deal well with being ran at super heavily. Something, we could have something like a Lycan come out here for Zai, or maybe even a Visage. +1 coming out again, because as I said, having these summons run at these heroes is very hard to deal with, because if you just let the Venge sit in the back for free and he never has to do anything, he's always going to be ready to swap out his Shadow Fiend in the game, right? So Liquid taking a little bit of time here to decide about this pick. I would assume that it's going to be Zai's plus Boxy's hero coming out here, but we'll see in a moment. Tiny for now.
Okay. We didn't see Tiny on stream yesterday, I don't think. I know I saw there was another game that had a Tiny, but I'm not sure that we saw it ourselves. So this is I imagine this is going to be the boxy Tiny. For the most part, when I see Team Liquid occupy this hero, it does go into the 4 position. So that gives them the toss, gives them some decent amount of disable.
5 seconds remaining.
How do you feel about Tiny? I haven't seen this hero in a while. It does feel like he's fallen off a little bit. I think it's now very dependent on what you pair the hero with. And this is going to be the pairing. Tiny Darkseer. They played Darkseer yesterday on one of the other streams. Do you like this duo coming in right now from Team Liquid?
So they're one of the only teams that play the Darkseer right now. They played it yesterday as well against T1, if I'm not mistaken. So having the bonus team fight coming out is another route that you can take. Currently, right now, VIRTUS.PRO are very heavily on the Shadow Fiend dealing damage, right? So another route that Venge and Nyx don't deal with too well is that they don't deal too much damage themselves. They enable other heroes to do it for you. And Darkseer with Void, obviously that's a very good combo, but I'm a little afraid for maybe some of these counter picks coming out now for VIRTUS.PRO. It would make the most sense for them in this case to pick their offlane for VP, because they know Faceless Void is going carry, and this way they can also still save the Shadow Fiend for the last pick and then decide, okay, is Shadow Fiend good enough in the mid against whatever Liquid pick last, or do we need to swap it up, put SF in the safe lane against Darkseer and then pick a new mid laner there?
I would certainly like that switch up as well, just to keep the draft as dynamic as humanly possible from the side of VP. Now they just have to decide what's our best bet in this off lane for DM. He played an Undying game yesterday as well. Of course, he's not going to be allowed to do that today. What else did he play? There's no Viper, there's no Venom Monster.
It doesn't seem that easy to come up with this pick right now. The range heroes you want, they're banned. Melee heroes are mainly strength, so they don't feel that good against Undying either. So I'm trying to look. I was looking at like a Night Stalker, but that lane seems to be impossible, so I wouldn't really like that. So perhaps you just take like honestly, I could see a Tidehunter. It's not the greatest lane against Undying, but Ravage is really good against these heroes, and he can build auras. Okay, this is a similar style that also gives you team fight. I would assume he's going to build a couple of auras. This is something very different. I did not see this one coming. But I can see it, I can see it coming out. It's really good against the Tomb in the game. I think eventually you're going to kick out Void. He doesn't deal with your spiders. And I guess the lane is going to be okay.
I was thinking the exact same thing, that maybe the idea is the lane is decent, but eventually you just muscle him out and you don't have to rely on like popping a big, large cooldown ultimate to be able to do so. All right, I can see this working out for them. And the one thing that does seem a little bit iffy though is that who makes the moves here for the side of VP? Who actually gets around the map and makes stuff happen? Like the Nyx Assassin is going to be there for some scouting prowess, but it feels like GPK has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Unless they're playing GPK Shadow Fiend and then they put something else, like some Bloodseeker or something in the safe lane, we know that VP has a propensity to do so. But I'm still, how do you feel? Like where do we get our fight starting from in the side of VP?
I think that Liquid are on the money right now with what they're doing. So I think what VIRTUS.PRO are going to look for is just to hit this massive timing with the Shadow Fiend being really fat, Venge supporting him with the swap aura, and Broodmother building some auras. So I think putting the SF mid, banning for that, and picking a carry for Ramses that he has to check two boxes if that's what they want to go for. A, you need to lane well against Darkseer Tiny with a +5 Venge. So you need to be kind of a durable hero. And B, it would be great if his hero can also initiate. It's a similar story to what I've mentioned in some of the other games. When you have this SF, TA, Lina mid who are getting buffed up already, you don't really need a second carry. You want like a carry that complements the hero you already have. So having like a Sven or something along those lines that just gives you some more initiation would be great for them. You know, like a Wraith King type hero. I hope they don't pick Wraith King. It's not that good against Darkseer, but that archetype of hero that just helps the SF to play his game.
Turn to ban.
Certainly makes sense. Drow Ranger banned out.
That's an okay ban too, yes, absolutely.
It's okay. We have seen like the Drow Shadow Fiend as well in the past. And Drow Shadow Fiend Venge does seem like a ridiculous amount of damage. I would not want to deal with that myself. So certainly a ban well subscribed from the side of Team Liquid. And they themselves also need a mid laner for Mike. I think it's a little bit more straightforward from them that they just need a mid laner. There's no one else that can really... There's no other role that needs covering at the moment, unless they want to play like Mike Tiny and a Boxy play something else, but that feels a bit weird.
Yeah, I think the VP ban is very good with Pango. Like this pick for Liquid, it may actually not be that easy. So what they're looking for is something with tempo that can play with the Darkseer. But I think it is not. They should try to avoid picking a melee hero, because if they do that, they make it very easy for VP to put the Shadow Fiend into the middle lane, which right now is what VP should be aiming for. So I think the Pango ban was great. The Storm ban as well. Storm mid, he can make moves, he can play with Darkseer, and he can rotate on the side lanes, because right now, as we said, VIRTUS.PRO, they're not going to make too many moves, right? They're very stationary. You're going to have Venge breaking smoke, similarly with the Nyx. So here for Liquid, what is going to be there? I mean, they're low on time. I will not be able to predict this pick.
Wow. All right, the question, Kezu, how long would you have taken before you came out with Spirit Breaker at the end?
I think it would not have come out in a long time. So it could be a tiny... I assume it's just going to be tiny middle. Yeah. Because I don't see Spirit Breaker play mid against Shadow Fiend, if that's the incoming
10
pick.
seconds remaining.
It would be interesting if it was going to be a Shadow Fiend middle or a Spirit Breaker middle into the SF.
Yeah.
Either way, I think that SF is fine.
This game.
Yeah. Now you definitely play SF mid. Now that you're looking at those draw from the side of Team Liquid, you're like, sweet, we just make GPK the carry, right? We saw this yesterday similarly when they played the Lina, where GPK was actually the core hero of that game. You even made the joke that you forgot Ramses was in the game because the team didn't need him. Yeah. So they're probably hoping for a similar situation here at the end of their draft. They're also running out of time. 5 seconds remaining. Where are we going, VP? It's going to be CK. All right. Okay.
Yeah, it fits it kind of fits the bill, what we were talking about, right? I think it's a lot better than the Wraith King, the Sven was banned out. I feel like that would have been a really cool pick for them. You just kind of want this hero. I mean, you're playing against Darkseer Spirit Breaker. You need a hero that is either durable or can defend himself, and he complements Shadow Fiend in the game. So I think this fits their draft very well. I don't think it's necessarily the easiest Chaos Knight game to play, but it brings VIRTUS.PRO's lineups together very well.
It does help a lot as well that they are playing with this Vengeful Spirit, so the CK is going to have some degree of benefit from the aura as well on that regard. So we see this VP lineup. It's balanced-ish, it's cool. A bit of a rough time at times for the CK, but overall it does seem like it could work out. The interesting pick though for this draft was the last pick, Spirit Breaker, coming in from the side of Team Liquid. It's Spirit Breaker Darkseer. We've seen this combo just wreak havoc, especially in Western Europe in the past. So does it feel strong enough for you here that Team Liquid can win this game? And remember everybody, if Team Liquid wins, that guarantees them the upper bracket. Right now, they're sort of guaranteed, but there's permutations that could happen to put them in tiebreakers. But if they win this, no tiebreakers required, guaranteed upper bracket. Is the Spirit Breaker the ticket to make that happen?
Honestly, the Spirit Breaker pick is really good in this game. We said that VIRTUS.PRO are very stationary. Having the charge against Broodmother is very nice. You get to see him even if he covers around the trees, especially when we have figured out that VP are stationary, so you can assure that Liquid did the same. So when you have a Spirit Breaker in that type of game, that is great for you. I'm pretty sure that you also kill a lot of spiders, or at least put them very low with the charge if you go through them. You have a Darkseer to play with, a Tiny to play with as well. So I think that Darkseer Spirit Breaker combo is going to be very strong in this game, and my eyes are going to be on Mickey for him to set the tempo of this game. And if he's successful, I think that is what's going to allow Liquid to win this game.
Let us see whether or not they can make this happen on the side of Team Liquid. Mike on his Tiny. We've seen this happen in previous patches. Let's see if it's going to happen today in game number 1 of Team Liquid versus VIRTUS.PRO, a game that will secure Team Liquid, if they win, a spot in the upper bracket. Let's figure this out while they're running at each other. Let's do our thing here, kids. We play with the highest total magic or pure damage done to heroes at the game end. Magic or pure? Surely GPK, right?
No one deals pure, so I guess I'm gonna go with Shadow Fiend, I guess. Yeah. It could be Darkseer Shells too.
Oh yeah, because
this one is rough.
And a Tiny, right?
Yeah, this one is rough. I think you have to go with SF or Darkseer actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think VP's gonna win this game, so I'll go with the SF. Time of first barracks destruction. So,
I think this is going to be a long game. I would say between 30 and 40.
Yeah, that's fine. Total number of smoke gang kills by 10 minutes, 3 plus. It feels like. Wait, by 10? 2. I say 2.
Yeah, I will go with 2.
And then team with the
first Roche kill. I feel like that
VP.
Both teams can do Roche, but it's probably VP.
Dude, they've got Venge, SF, Brood, CK.
Yeah, like that has to be theirs.
It's one of these games where if they lose that Roshan, game is just very, very hard. It becomes arbitrarily difficult. But here we go. The horn is now sounded. We're going to see if we're going to have any kind of conflict. Team Liquid, in both of their prior games against Wildcard Gaming, had a first blood in the first couple of seconds happening. But this time around, the opponent is much more difficult. So you want to start things off as normally, as plainly. Just don't rock the boat. Just have a normal, regular game of Dota.
We're going to have to pay a lot of attention to both the side lanes around the level 2 mark for both lanes. Spirit Breaker, Darkseer, a deadly level 2 combo with Vacuum, Double Shell, especially against a post-5 Vengeful Spirit. And when we look at the safe lane, Mato has an Orb of Venom level 1. He's laning with Undying, who's very strong, against 2 heroes from VIRTUS.PRO that are kind of like bots or creeps level 1. Like Nyx isn't going to do much. He's going to help on the first wave, then probably pull. And Broodmother, he's just going to run around in his webs and hope to dodge Insania the best he can.
Yeah. Just get yourself away from this Undying. Do not play into the decay. Should be fine for the most part, but does also mean that it can't really apply pressure on the lane itself. And Insania just going to be doing his support thing. I must say Insania has been looking really, really hot on this Undying today. It's going to be his 3rd game on this hero. And going to be squads that have to think about how to deal with this. Look at this drag from Yamich.
Yeah, you can see both teams going for a similar play. Nicely done by Insania. So the best thing that you can actually do about this is while they grab your second wave, you go across theirs and you take their second wave, which is basically what Insania did, just to like disrupt the laning flow, follow the snakes, maybe get some creeps denied. He already managed to have 1 range creep. And top lane, they kind of did the similar story, but Pagoda wasn't really able to. You cannot ask him to run across a Spirit Breaker Darkseid to do the same thing as the Undying.
Yeah.
So nice job by Insania here.
Good early supporting play coming in from the dual supports of Team Liquid. Insania playing now in between the tier 1 and the tier 2 down in this bottom lane. That does leave things as a 1v1. GPK middle almost lost his life there to Mike. How does this lane matchup go between the Tiny and the SF in general? Should Mike be having this good of a time?
I think Mickey should have a very good time, yeah, especially in the early few levels. You're supposed to out-CS the SF quite a bit. SF is also going to have to spend some gold on Mangles. As the lane progresses, Tiny can apply a lot of pressure to him, and with any +1, I think Tiny can get kills as in mid right now. Look at Mickey.
Yeah, it's actually almost falling down on GPK. One more right click almost put him into death territory. He did end up consuming everything in the bottle. Now he's turning back onto Mickey, but Mickey is out of mana. He doesn't have access to the Avalanche. So he's going to end up dying. Won't reach the water rune. One more right click is going to be the first blood. Oh my goodness, this is perfect. He gets not just the kill, he's going to refill the water rune and then still go top and get the other one.
Yeah.
Kezu, perfect situation here for GPK in this mid lane.
This is crazy for him. I just have to mention. I mean, is Mickey laning against Shadow Fiend or goddamn Bad Rider? This guy is not easy, guys. It's Shadow Fiend. But this is 2022. Everyone has some changes to the spells, and now, of course, when you stack up the raises, turn rate slow, movement speed slow. I mean, you could see it there. It's deadly. You don't get to run away anymore in top lane. Pagoda in a bit of trouble.
He's in a little bit of trouble.
And once again, when I say trouble, I mean dead.
Dead. It's a good thing you're on the mic right now. You're learning the Costa's curse, Kezu. It's good.
I am. Trouble equals dead. You guys can just, remember it for now. When I say trouble, they're never fine.
Someone absolutely gonna die. Well, that kill middle changes a lot about the dynamics of the early game. We're probably expecting we're going to have a good lane from the Tiny, and then that'll sort of cover for the fact that we're getting decent farm from the Faceless Void, not like phenomenal. So as a result of that kill, we actually see a little bit of trouble onto Insania. He ate himself an Impale, but with the decays, he should still be okay. Does this change how the game is going to be played overall for GPK, or is he still just going to be primarily the farm bots in this mid lane for a little bit until his team decides to play around him?
Yeah, it's still going to be similar. So he's going to have a better game, of course, now with the added bonus gold. I think the biggest change that you might see from this is the fact that with the bonus gold that GPK may have, it could be harder for Liquid to score any type of aggression on him later with earlier boots and earlier stick. Now he's going to have a raindrop flying out. The game for Nicky doesn't change too much, other than that he's missing out on a little bit of net worth. He's still supposed to be looking to set the tempo in this game later and play with shells from Zai.
That certainly makes sense. Bottom, the two supports are just going to be in each other's faces as much as humanly possible between Yamish and Insania.
Are fortified.
Just messing around with each other, enjoying life. Mid lane, we actually have a rotation coming in onto GPK, trying to make the dive aggressively onto Nicky. Gets tossed back, not in range of the tower just yet, but there's going to come the charge onto GPK. Can he get himself out of here in time? He has access to razors very, very soon, but he decides not to go in for the aggressive play, and will end up dead as a result as Boxy charges into him with the Iron Shell, gives the kill over onto Zai, and Yamish can't find revenge, can he? He's a little bit too weak. Mika will take advantage of the increased protection of the tower and not allow himself to get brought down this way.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Nice turnaround play there as top Zai might get bailed out by Boxy. Looks like it will.
Spirit Breaker, man. Good hero. And he's putting a lot of harass back onto Ramses as well. This is what's so annoying about this lane, dude. Like him just being alive kills you. So annoying.
Yeah, I like this raid band level 1 as well, that he actually, I think he started with just a bit more armor, and now it's taking a bit more trouble. Gonna charge through again.
Magic missile.
That crit nearly got the better of him as Nick is here.
Okay, make the first big rotation of the map here. This is actually interesting because so far from what we've seen today, most of the movements middle haven't been coming until much later in the game, but Mike spots the opportunity to get this early kill, decides to take it. He might end up dying middle though, as Yamish there with the Impale, GPK looking for the razors, but only able to get out one in time. Doesn't have access to the Requiem, so there's no chance to get the kill onto Mike.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
As looks like Zion, he's gonna be okay. As VP just doing a good job mid, securing the rune for GPK here. He's having a good game. Perhaps overstayed his welcome a little bit in mid with a very nice, you know, reaction from Liquid to then ultimately turn it around. He's still top of the network on SO by quite a bit as mid lane Avalanche toss back.
Toss back into the tower, charge then to make sure that he spends as much time taking tower hits as possible. We'll go in for the DD rune so he can bottle his way to some degree of safety. And it will work out. No lucky bashes emerging from Boxy. So that will allow the SF to just dip back into the jungle, pick up a bounty rune, and keep going like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, very nice early itemization by him. This is where we maybe have to go back a little bit to the first blood. He has a fluffy hat for the Falcon Blade to give him some bonus HP. Raindrop, stick, boots, just making him fully survivable against this incoming play. So without an Iron Shell or some lucky bashes, he's not really gonna die in this mid lane. Now he's gonna fall back to the jungle, take some stacks, and in the meantime, damage on the Snicks. He's just gonna receive some experience in the mid lane, which is, of course, great for him.
You want to get as much onto this Nyx Assassin as possible. Just get to the level 6 as fast as you can. In the meantime, speaking of level 6s, actually trying to get around Mike here. Trying to surround him. Yamich, will he be able to find the impale? He does. Bakoda looking for the magic missile that does come out. GPK, does he have the burst? Couple more right clicks is all they need. He sticks up. Mike still alive. Here comes the charge from Boxy onto GPK. They finally get the kill, but Boxy now body blocking the SF, preventing him escaping. Hakoda throws in the magic missile. GPK on the high ground right now. He needs to get out of here. Sticks up. He's getting hit up by Insania. Will finally end up taking a tumble. And Matsu's also made his way towards this mid lane as the Faceless Void able to clean up Hakoda at the end. It is a 2-for-1 exchange in this mid lane, but they commit a lot of resources for Team Liquid to make that happen.
Absolutely. Once again, I like how VP are currently using the heroes on the map. I have to note that they have a beautiful lane ward up top that saw Matu rotate into this lane. You can somewhat understand that this is going to happen in the game because the enemy team is Brood. You don't have a carry who deals well with the hero, so your carry is going to have to leave. So VP already preemptively placed the lane ward top, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a Broodmother problem in this game as he's taking the tier 1 tower. And when you see someone take a tier 1 tower at 8 minutes without anyone daring to go into the area, it's not a very good sign.
Yeah. DM is at that point right now on this Broodmother. Just chomping. Tier 1 tower is about to fall. The auras are being built up. I mean, there was a brief period of time when Insania was playing bottom primarily with Matu, where they could contest this Brood, but how many times have we seen this, Kezu? The Brood gets strong enough, suddenly nobody can play this side of the map. And unfortunately, because they're playing with the dogs here instead of like Zai's, Beastmaster, or the Lycan or whatever, they don't necessarily have the same options of hyper pushing out those top waves to trade quickly. So what do they do right now whilst DM is busy just occupying this bottom part of the map against them?
I think for now, at some point, you're gonna want... I'm not sure what type of levels Boxy needs to be able to lane in that lane. I think it's gonna be quite a bit, which means for the time being, when the bottom jungle or the bottom lane gets pushed in a lot, I think you need either Zai or Mike to play there, at least to like push back the lane and so on, because they can also protect themselves with the shell. You can drop in shell on the spiders, that's pretty annoying. And in the meantime, whenever they can combine the heroes with shells, or the chrono, that's how they can get kills. And once they do that, they then can fall back to push out the lanes again. Because right now, VP are in a very, very nice position. 3k gold lead, their cores are playing safe enough to not feed away in kills. Chaos End is farming safely. GPK is ramping up on the Ancients right now. So VIRTUS.PRO should be feeling good with the pace of this game right now.
Feeling fresh. Omelette coming soon for Ramses as well. And for the side of Team Liquid, fortunately, they are playing with the Spirit Breaker, so you don't necessarily have to have the Blink Dagger from Mike before you can make any moves on the map, but it does require them to coordinate quite well to make any of these moves. Boxy, he's going to be the one deployed to this bottom lane to clear out some of these Spiderlings and this creep wave with the Iron Shell on them. That is the one nice thing about this, right, is that no matter how big the army gets from the Broodmother, you always have to worry about Zai throwing the Iron Shell, giving it to Boxy, or just showing up himself, and then suddenly it's like, well, I have to just farm the jungle now.
I love these wards by VIRTUS.PRO. First with the lane ward top that we talked about, and this aggressive one in the bottom jungle to help protect the Brood. And as we can see, it is barely outside of the D ward range from this high ground. And also I want to note that DM is doing a very nice job with micring, and he has his own sentries. This is really cool when you play these aggressive summon heroes and you take over the enemy jungle, because you can provide vision to the high grounds for yourself, So he's just making sure that with this one sentry and the spider on the high ground, that they don't have any vision there. This is really nice.
DM knows exactly what he's doing with this hero. Gonna keep getting bigger and bigger as time goes on, as he is leading into that Wraith Pact. Middle lane though, we do see a charge onto Hakoda. And he forced to cancel it. Knew that if he got too close there, he either gets carapaced or stunned up by Yamich. Not a risk worth taking. And GPK getting scarily close towards having the D-Lance. I wonder, do we have send some heroes top to maybe try force a kill onto Ramses? We do have access to the bubble here from Matu. Or is it too soon? They lack the damage just yet.
No, it's one of their better plays for sure, because right now the status quo for VP, what they want to do is that, okay, DM, you're gonna be bottom, you get as much as you can, you steal the jungle, you get as fat as you can. Same story for Ramses. Ramses, you get as much in the top lane and then you fall back into the jungle without feeding, and our supports, we play with GPK. So that's kind of what they want to do right now, and it's on Liquid to break this formation. Try and get a kill on the Broodmother bottom, or try and get a kill on the CK if he's too deep. Because fighting into the SF Nyx Venge, if they're defensively in their side, is very hard to do. But VP currently, they're smoked out. And it will not quite work out.
Yeah, Hakoda doesn't have level 6. So unfortunately, the smoke does pop. Vision is granted to the opposite direction, and then Zaya's just like, oh, I have this wonderful spell that is actually amazing against smoke axe like this. Gets himself out of trouble. Unfortunately, the Hakoda will not be able to do the same. Gets charged into. Magic Missile will be there, but Mika comes in with the Surge and the Avalanche. There's no way this Venge can escape this. They're just going to try and waste their time a little bit. Will end up dying still. But nonetheless, that's still 4 heroes that you commit to try and bring down Hakoda in the 5 position. I say hashtag worth if I'm VP.
Yeah, VP are absolutely happy with this, because, so as we talk about what the cores are supposed to do, right? Once Ramses sees any information on the map, with his 2000 HP at this point in the game with Armlet, he knows that Void isn't going to be able to kill it. Sure, maybe he gets chronoed, but he sees all the other heroes on the bottom area. So as long as his team can feed him the information, then this is what allows him to go back to the lane farm and now fall back to the jungle. So VP currently are playing very well, and I'm trying to find this opening for Liquid to try and break free. Maybe they need to help Mickey to get to this Blink Dagger, or force like a really big smoke into either the bottom jungle or top to start using Chrono with the shells.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Two other options that they decide to pursue. For now, it does seem like they're choosing the patient route of trying to find access to this Blink Dagger. Really struggling to find inroads for these fights. I suppose it's also not the worst thing in the world, given that Matu is getting some degree of farm here, with his Mask of Madness climbing the CS and net worth charts whilst he can. And eventually, Faithless Void always does come good. But we also saw yesterday, right, that they played, I think VP, didn't they play the CK into Void? And speaking of which, hold on, Void is right next to Yamich. He was scouted by the Sentry Ward. And he was being cute, but unfortunately not being cute enough. Boxy scouts him, Boxy how to get the kill onto him. And now Matu's even happier, closer and closer towards having more farm.
Yeah, nice job by Liquid just to, you know, secure your areas. You are playing against a Nyx Assassin, so you want to have sentries on the map. And yeah, I do think the goal time for Liquid is gonna be this Blink Dagger on Tiny, because right now it seems very, very hard for them to change anything about the state of the map. And VIRTUS.PRO, I mean, as we touched on, they're happy with this. They're gonna get this Wraith Pact on Broodmother. And there's going to be a big timing for Liquid to come, where I think fighting 5-on-5 is very hard, because you're going to lack damage. Sure, you have the Darkseer shells, but you're going to have Wraith Pact lowering the damage. You have like a Carapace and stuns and Requiems coming out. So VIRTUS.PRO's mid-game timing is going to be very strong in the next couple minutes to come.
GPK starting to make the trek towards BKB. You see Zai here also trying to build into some aura items. Can come in middle to give the young Ion Shell to Mickey, as they are actually charging GPK. I think he's just doing this to get closer. There's no way he goes all the way in. He actually got bashed by Roche. Poor Boxy. Poor Boxy. And now he's actually going to end up dying too. I don't think GPK was ready for that stun to land. If he was ready, he might have gone a little bit forward for the meaty and the long range, but instead he's just like, oh, wait. There's actually a Spirit Breaker nearby. But it's probably safer to just try and pursue the mid lane push, right?
Oh, absolutely. Especially with Boxy's quick fingers on the bulldoze there, applying himself with some side resistance. Mid lane charge.
Okay, gets connected on two. Ramses comes in, gets off the Phantasm. It's going to be the first wall of replica of the game with the vacuum onto GPK. But they will just happily try and destroy these. Boxing finds the ultimate onto GPK, but he still gets avalanched in. They really want the SF, but they're still not able to find him. Matu puts him in the bubble, and that finally will lead into the kill on the SF. VP did their utmost best to try and stop that from happening, but it just wasn't good enough. And now they're going to dive onto Yamich as well behind the tier 1 tower. He ends up losing his life, getting a double kill towards Zai. Team Liquid, yet again, they do this full court press, but when they show up this time around, Kizu, they also get the kills and the tier 1 tower in the process.
That was just beautiful execution from their side there, really. Darkseer getting some gold here, Faceless Void, Matu showing up. Just like they show themselves on the tower, and like we mentioned yesterday, good teams will not give you these towers for free. They will make it very hard. They poke some spells, they see that, you know, they keep poking SF a little more. Matu starts TPing in, and then we're gonna see it in the replay to come. The Venge swap, he still gets to chase. Like here, you see a bit of poking. Nice job by Boxing. He kind of starts the fight, but then they keep going, as in the late game. DM in a lot of trouble.
He's trying to spider himself away here, and will manage to do so at the very end. Man, this hero was annoying.
Raid Pact.
Oh, Raid Pact, get some spiders out. A few hits with the spawn spiderlings to just distract, and he's gone. He's fine.
Look at Ramses.
Ramses is being charged into, but look at Yamich with the impale, preventing any approach into Ramses. Ramses was thinking about coming back for the haste rune, but decides that his life is more important. But he might still end up dead. Hakoda forced to swap him back into the mid lane just to create more space for the CK. And will commit his own life in the process. Earthwell, top lane, GPK, he's in danger here. Matu doesn't have the bubble, but they do have the vision. Hakoda is charging in, but here comes Ramses, throwing in the damage onto the Faceless Void, killing him just at the very end of the Mask of Madness duration. GPK, though, will still end up dead as Boxing and Zai right on top of him with the ion shells, with the charge damage. They are able to kill him, but big trade losing Matumba Man in that situation.
Oh, I actually think VP need to be a little careful with how their cores are playing right now. They're all taking heavy damage. You have Ramses keeping in here. They do get a clutch kill on Matu, but now he's stuck here without TP, without any HP, so he can't really continue to farm. And honestly, these kill trades, I must say, they favor Liquid more. You're getting like levels on these heroes that really need it. And VP, they were really close to hitting like this sick timing where they all have very high net worth with the Wraith Pack. But items like Wraith Pack, they're stronger the less net worth that is in the game overall, because then the percentage is gonna pull in more. As top lane, look at Hakoda in the jungle.
Hakoda in the jungle. What? I think you should have just said he was in trouble there.
Ah, you're right. He's in trouble.
Dead man walking. Darkseer has now picked up this Crimson Guard. You know, yesterday when we saw this, it was Team Secret versus VG Gaming Game 2, I think, where we had the Faceless Void playing into SF and CK. I think that was exactly what VG played. And in that game, they didn't have a Crimson Guard buyer, and I think we spoke about it, like the lack of Crimson Guard or any kind of way to mitigate this damage makes the game much harder. But this time they have it available already. As Yamich dives inside the river, right next to Ramses, and Ramses doesn't actually have much allies nearby him. Hakoda does have access to the swap, but they have ways to chase him. As GPK though comes in, able to get the kill onto the Spirit Breaker. Matu forced to run away from the bubble, given that the Requiem was going to fear him out. But now as he jumps onto the high ground, how's the rest of this fight going to pan out? Wall dropped down by Zai and the river. They get the avalanche toss coming in from Nike. 2 heroes connected onto, and the wall illusions will help getting the kill. GPK attempting to escape, but he knows he's gone. He knows they have him dead to rights, and Zai, utilizing his own illusion, gets the kill from the high ground onto GPK. Several heroes have fallen, but 3 of them belong to VP, and that's yet another team fight that Team Liquid walk away victorious from.
Really, really beautiful fight from Team Liquid. I think VP they're kind of crumbling. With the great start they had, they are really throwing away their game. Liquid in a very, they're doing super well right now. Now they have the Crimson Guard. Zai is finishing I think he finished up the Vlads as well on the courier, so he's gonna be the better Brood Mother now at this point.
Where did he get all this farm? What's happening?
Farming kills, Iron Shells, 11 assists, and they just keep getting kills.
Yeah, but that's on Hakoda, and I think Ramses is in a little bit of danger as well. Nice impale from Yamich. Boxy is a bit low. There's a buyback from Hakoda. He comes back into the fray. Ramses already dropped down to less than half HP. Needs to watch himself in this situation. Like you say, they just don't stop. They just keep rolling forward and forward and forward. VP can't even farm on their side of the map. Now they're forced to like hold hands all together. But with this buyback, no Requiem, no Phantasm, and yeah, like you say, there's Roach on the card for them. Very easy to take.
Matu's game was really shut down, and if Faces Void has good farm in this game, which he does now, with the backup from his team and the items they have, as hold that for now.
Hakoda charges Yamich, and they're trying to reinitiate the fight after picking up the Aegis. Boxy might die from this though, but able to come back up. Huge amounts of heal. And now they want to be on the chase, finding VP. They get the catch onto Yamich first and foremost. They don't have any advanced vision outside of this Observer Wall on the high ground, so they can charge Hakoda, but not necessarily GPK. But they don't need to. They got the Aegis, they're the ones farming safely on the map. But this game is looking hella cracked for the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, so VP really need to take a breather and try to come back in this game, because what's happening right now hasn't favored them in a long time. As Liquid, they're not giving you this time to breathe. They're smoking up and they're eyeing Ramsey's mid.
Ramses gets jumped on. He was about to finish the BKB. Fortunately, Hakoda does save his life. That would have been heartbreaking. Literally 300 gold shy of BKB, where you can suddenly actually have some kind of way of surviving these fights. So Hakoda had to make that sacrifice. But look how scared Ramses is playing now. Forced to farm with his own Phantasm illusions.
Yeah, they need this double BKB, and the game has really majorly slipped out of their hand. I think Matu is going to be really hard to deal with. He has an Aegis, Crimson Guard, Undying behind him, constant surge. Zai also now queuing up the Guardian Greaves. I think his item build is probably as good as it can get. And Faces Void with this net worth in this game, I'm kind of getting like OG flashbacks right now. This is like Ana on his Faces Void, Seb Darkseer with perfect items, tops and mid on his, you know, on his Tiny. And I think Liquid are playing incredibly well. And this is their game at this point.
Listen, given what happened at TI8, and when OG was beating VP, I'm pretty sure VP are hoping to not have those flashbacks.
Oh,
Let's hope it's different this time. Oh, DP. So what's the... They need to wait for these double BKBs like you said, right? But even after they get them, who do they initiate onto in the fight? Or rather, what's their route of engaging in these fights? Because at the moment, it still does feel like they still lack a way to get forward. Do they have to wait for the Blink Dagger or Nyx Assassin maybe?
I mean, it's getting really hard now. If they go in, I feel like it might be best for them if they have a good formation where Nyx is invis and Venge is ready to swap a target out with Broodmother tanking in the front with like the Pipe and Wraith Pact. I feel like VP jumping aggressively at this point with how the game has panned out the last 5-6 minutes is very hard to do. Maybe when the Aegis expires, then you can, if you see Matu in the front lines. But I feel like until then, your aggressive moves are really hard to execute.
Bottom tower is under attack.
It only gets harder as well now, given that we've gotten the BKB out of Matu. Nike is building his own one as well. BKB, with the Aegis still for another 2 minutes, is very dangerous. VP do not want to fight, and Team Liquid recognize they don't want to fight, but we do. They now smoke up. GPK, does he have a Hakoda nearby? He does, but Yamich won't be so lucky. He already ended up with the death onto him. Ramses goes in with the ultimate, and there's the bubble. Hakoda will get the swap on, but they have the vision onto GPK, and they're coming in with Boxy as well. In the meantime, though, Ramses turning things around onto Zai, and with these illusions, able to kill him. GPK dive near the tier 2 tower though, so they've gotten the primary target, but we'll see if Ramses can try and clean this one up. Boxy fairly low on HP, gets off the ultimate though with the Nether Strike onto the CK, dragging the rest of VP further away from his own squad. Doesn't want them to play down here on the south, but now Mike jumps in on the north. Avalanche top onto Ramses. Not enough damage to really threaten him just yet, but Matu is delivering that damage. Matu will finally die. That's the first life committed from him. Once he comes back, he's waiting for Mickey to deliver him a juicy target. Yamich looks like he might be the one that will give up his life as a sacrifice, but Spike has it all too good. Instead, it's DM. They go for the easier target. Not every day that the Spider is the easiest one to kill, but they haven't been able to kill him just yet. DM. Wraith Pact, the full Pipe of Insight, also sitting with the Dragon Scale as well. Quite tanky on this Spider, so the Broodmother will end up living, but VP still end up losing 4 heroes in that engagement.
It is... don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's so hard for VP to take these fights because right now the fact really is long fights will favor Team Liquid. You get multiple charges, multiple combos from Tiny, you have the Tombstone running around with Soul Rips, Time Walks, Time Dilation, whereas for VP, if their BKBs run out, it's very hard for them to fight. So VP need to look for like a clutch swap and fast fights with soon the Blink Dagger on Nyx Assassin. They're looking for a play right now, so Proto is down.
It's actually a pretty big deal, but no, they don't get off the chain disable. So he gets off his BKB and now kills the back wall. Coda pulls back into it. He's the first casualty of this fight. Ramses will be able to kill Zai though, but Boxy coming in for some revenge. Never strike onto GPK. He's not allowed to escape the fight, so he's dead as well. Mike on another streak. Ramses at least gets the one revenge kill onto Insania as well, turning this into a 3-for-2. DM trying to give up his own life for the cause, but they're trying to ignore him and jump onto Ramses instead. Mike sticking with the spider as Ramsey is surrounded by the Void and the Spirit Breaker, and they've broken his life, his own spirit. They get the kill. Getting no avalanche, gets the toss at the very last second. DM not allowed to escape this fight. The question is, can they kill him? They've tried so many times in the past. He's gotten 0 deaths, but Matu finally makes it 1, and they call GG. VP know it's over, VP know it's done, and they will say, Team Liquid, you are going to the top of the table, done and dusted with the 2-0 sweep, or 1-0 sweep, just the first game. That's the first game, my bad, I got excited for a little bit there. What a game from Team Liquid, Kezu. Jeez, that was, I did not expect it to go that way, especially not after like the first 5-6 minutes of that game.
I mean, VP.
Team Liquid's turn to ban. VIRTUS.PRO's turn to ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
VIRTUS.PRO's turn to pick.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome one and all. We have returned yet again to these last chance qualifiers to witness game number 2 between Team Liquid and VIRTUS.PRO here in the second group. As it stands right now, Team Liquid, after an incredible game 1 victory, stand 1 game away from taking the 2-0 over VP. They've already guaranteed their upper bracket slot, but now they want the number 1 seed here in group number B. Let us see whether or not they will be able to make it happen with myself, Snare, joined by Kezu. Good sir, that game was a phenomenal experience to witness, to watch, just to engage in, right? What will VP have learned coming into game number 2, and what changes do you think they'll be making in order to try and get this W?
I feel like VP just need to make sure that they do the same in the start. Their lanes were great, their picks were fine, but that when they feel that they're strong, that they just execute together. I don't want them to throw away each other's games, like some guy overplays when his team isn't ready, or you have this great timing as a team, but that means you need to use it together. I just want them to be on the same page and then go from there, because the rest was good. They're good players, they laned well, they had a good draft. It's just about their execution together as a team.
Let's see, though, in the second game, whether or not they'll be able to execute. We've already seen them have a bit of a different look at the very beginning of the draft. Team Liquid, they either ban themselves, ban out the Marcy. They don't have first pick, so it certainly does make sense. They take out the Undying as well. So VP still in 100% games involving Undying in some capacity, as they banned out Enigma and the Lone Druid. This opening pick on the side of Team Liquid, the Tusk we have seen from VP in the past, but we don't see that many Jakiros, and we certainly don't see that much of him in the first phase. Explain, Kezu, smart man. Tell me, where is this coming from?
So the Jakiro is, so first of all, Liquid, as they're one of the only teams that have played this hero. They played it once before when they had Darkseer, a very, I mean, known combo, right? You have Vacuum Ice Path. It just seems to be, it's their answer for the Tusk. So it's very likely that wherever the Tusk goes, that the Jakiro goes there too. It's a good support for them. And I feel like it works pretty well for how they want to play. They oftentimes have Mickey mid on like a hero that can use the follow-up damage very well from Jakiro. Matu plays a lot of heroes that also enable the Jakiro in the game with the spells. And he has a good matchup against Tusk. Those should be like the main reasons as to why they're like, yes, we can pick Jakiro here and kind of also force out a Faceless Void ban with VP picking the Bad Rider here.
Turn to ban.
The Bad Rider pick coming in from VP. Not a hero that we've seen all that much, but in general, when he is picked up, can be extremely destructive. Good ban on the VP to remove the Faceless Void as a result. I was about to say you need to ban Slog too. Make sure that Matu can't play these uber hyper mobile heroes that are very, very good against the Bat Rider. So now the question is going to be, where are they putting this Bat Rider, Kezu? Is this an offlane bat coming in for DM? Are they playing this for GPK in the mid lane? What's happening, do you think, with the Bat Rider in this game?
They will very likely try to perhaps hold it for a bit. I do think that the strongest role for this hero is in the mid lane. I mean, Liquid will be able to counter it no matter what, which is why VP need to expand some bans right now to make sure that their Bad Rider is somewhat protected depending on where he goes. So I think for now they will try to keep it somewhat open. I think the better role for Bad is mid, but he can be played off lane. He is also fine against Jakiro in the lane if you have aggressive capabilities.
Yeah, and depending on what the safe lane matchup could be as well, they can try and exploit it with the Bat Rider. We see now Darkseer getting banned. This might not even, I know it has to do with the combo you mentioned, Jakiro, Darkseer. I know it has to do with Tiny getting Iron Shot and looking so strong, but I think it has mostly to do with the annoyance from last game. They're just like, dude, I don't want to deal with that again, please. Just help. Just ban it out and say, okay.
Yeah, they don't want to like see it again. It's like very similar heroes that they just played. So now Liquid are gonna start. What I see them do a lot is if they play Bad Rider, they want an answer to the Bat. Like I've seen them have Vengeful Spirit before or Shadow Demon. Of course, you can get the answer from your core heroes as well. Something like a Legion Commander. Assuming here that, I mean, it depends if they want to keep the Tiny open or not. Whether they will pick Boxy's hero here and then commit the Tiny to mid, or will they pick just straight up like Matu's or Zai's hero and in order to keep the Tiny open between 2 and 4?
I would prefer the latter option, honestly, so that they still have, I think, go as deep into the draft as humanly possible before having to hard commit and say, all right, this is exactly what we're doing. And we have seen that, generally speaking, for Team Liquid, yes, it is the case that they oftentimes do last pick the hero for Matumba Man, but it's not like the most important thing for them to last pick his hero, right? They're not that team that only wins when he is given the priority pick at the end of the draft. And now they will go for the Queen of Pain, so making it clear that Tiny is going to be a support, though, this game, unless they're playing... I mean, Zai has played Queen of Pain in the off lane, so that's not completely out of pocket for the side of Team Liquid.
I can kind of see the Queen pick. I think there was also a time where you could flex this hero into not just the mid but the other roles. But anyway, for now, Queen works really well against Bad Rider. No matter where it really lanes into the hero, it will beat it. It works really well with Tiny. The Tiny can gank for you. And at the same time, Tusk never really has an aggressive capability onto the Queen of Pain. So I think there's a lot of pros to this pick coming out from Liquid.
Queen of Pain, one of these heroes that can just dominate this lane, gives them some extra access to magic damage as well. They have so many different ways for them to try and win out these engagements. VP, they say, well, you see, Queen of Pain middle, we're not trying to put GPK into an awkward position, so we instead pick the GPK Lina, just like yesterday where he went and carried from the mid lane. DM on the Bat Rider then. Where does that consign Ramses to? So the heroes that they normally play when GPK plays Lina mid is that he plays these more mid-game centric carries. We already saw him play CK in the last game. We've seen them play Bloodseeker yesterday. We've seen them play heroes like Ursa when this happens. Any of these stand out to you as a good option for a game like this?
It might still be too hard to say without seeing either it's gonna tell a lot with what we see now. Like perhaps he can try to get the counter carry matchup because the highest chance you have here is that Liquid pick I think they either pick Lycan for Zai or they just pick Matus hero because they know Bad Rider is off lane. Let's pick the matchup there and then last pick the counter matchup to Ramsey's carry with Zai. So I might have to wait for this pick in order to really be able to tell. But something that once again can play with Lina's tempo is good. You don't need another hard carry on top of the Lina in this game.
Yeah, certainly not, certainly not. We'll also see the reprisal of the Hakoda Disruptor. Had a phenomenal game on this hero yesterday. Like just, highlight reel kind of situations coming in from him. In this game, we do have some pretty good interactions with the Queen of Pain, being able to glimpse her back, Static Storm, pre-BKB, really a death knell for her in general. And like the glimpse back sets up for the LSA, sets up for the Bat Rider, how it even sets up for the Tusk as well.
Yeah, no, they played really well with Disruptor. I'm thinking of Liquid's pick here. If you pick Zai's hero, I think it's Legion or Lycan. If you want to pick Matu's hero, I feel like it might just be Lifestealer. It's pretty good against Disruptor. You have people that you can infest with the Queen of the Tiny. It lanes really well against the Bat Rider. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing anything with Void and Slark already being banned. I feel like depending on which role you feel like and which hero is more important, these should be one of the heroes that you're looking for, I feel like.
VIRTUS.PRO's turn.
Yes, Matuma Man Lifestealer is a classic. Yet again, Kezu, almost like you do this for a living. Lifestealer out here. All
this
the
one
points
wasn't
that you
too hard.
mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if we're going to go look at Twitch chat right now, we have some shocking calls for what hero should come out at this point in the game. So
probably, but to be fair, Twitch chat is always right. I just got lucky on this occasion, so let's not read too much into it. Twitch chat always knows best.
No, of course, of course. It's kind of interesting to me that neither of these lineups seem like they are very heavy into the teamfight department, right? Like, except for maybe the Disruptor, it feels like both of these lineups are very skirmish heavy. Always going to be taking like these mini engagements all across the map rather than committing to one grand teamfight.
Absolutely. Like for now, it's a lot about like who gets the first jump, where are you fighting in these open spaces, Queen getting out a lot of daggers, or do you get like this glimpse back with a lasso? It's, as you said, very skirmish heavy, like 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, finding people on their own. Now VP do ban out the Legion Commander. So what's important for VP now? They pick their carry blind without seeing Zai's hero. So they already need to decide right now, yo Ramses, you see these heroes, what do you want? Because we need to ban accordingly. We can't just pick a good hero against these four, and then it turns out, oh damn, we left in the biggest counter to this carry for Zai, and then you just get owned. So they need to decide already at this point what they want for Ramses.
Ramses telling his team, we see him sitting down there, deep in thought and concentration, trying to decide exactly what's going to be the perfect pick at this last stage of the draft. Team Liquid will go ahead and ban out the Templar Assassin. That is one aspect of things that VP are certainly lacking. Their Roche take kind of sucks. So you would like a minus armor dealer and someone that can fight a little bit sooner than the Lina will want to. It's an awkward place to be on the side of VP because it's a very difficult last pick to get for the Ramses, right?
Yeah, so I was saying that I'm not sure if you want a hard carry, but I'm looking at the options. So heroes that I could see him ask for is Morphling. Maybe it's a little slow, but traditionally it's very good against Lifestealer. You have a little bit of engage with Disruptor and Bad Rider. Another one is Tusk, but that hero, is Ursa, but that hero didn't really get banned for all too much. So both these heroes I could see get countered quite a bit in the lanes. Maybe you want to go safer with like a Luna. I'm having a hard time to come up with the correct hero, as Liquid do ban out Morph, which it makes sense. I feel like this pick is not easy for VIRTUS.PRO here.
How about TB in a game like this? I mean, it does fall into that little trap that you mentioned earlier of that hero is good against the heroes on the board, but can still be her lost counted. But it's a Ramsey special. I just go to the CK. Okay. Well, this is one of the three heroes that they normally play when they play Lina. CK, Ursa, Bloodseeker. So the option is going to be the CK this time around. They want that mid-game timing. They probably feel that last game, the CK isn't the reason that they ended up losing, and I can probably agree with them on that
10
one.
seconds remaining.
Okay, this is fine, I suppose. Physical damage against Lightstealer, decent
5
lane so
seconds
far.
remaining.
I would say so too. It's just once again, it's good for their draft, more so as just being, you know, good against Liquid. It just rounds out their draft very well. So for Liquid here, I think it's good. You want either a hero that helps you team fight a lot, maybe something such as a Pango, even though the lane could be very hard, or you want a range dominating hero that can perhaps shut down the CK in the lane. They have very low on reserve time, so I want to see what they go for.
Choose your hero.
Magnus.
Really impressed. Honestly, I'm really
Okay.
impressed.
We don't get this every day. Zai Magnus, a rare treat that we're being given for this second game of Dota 2 between VP and Team Liquid. This is going to give them what? Empower for the lifesteal farm later, RP and BKB piercing disable. I think it probably has to do with that, right? They probably saw last game that they were having a bit of a rough time once the BKB timings arrived for GPK and Ramses, but Zai was able to help deal with that. You know, at some point after the BKBs expires, Wall does it a lot, but they will probably want to win the fight faster than that. So maybe RP is going to help them in that regard.
I feel like this Magnus pick is very cool. The idea behind it has a lot to do. So when you have a carry that doesn't deal very well with illusions or summons, and they then end up picking like a PL or Naga, you can turn your carry into this by picking Magnus and helping him with Empower. So that's kind of cool. Also, the RP and this positioning against Lina is very strong. I'm not too sure about the laning stage with Magnus and Tiny, so they'll have to pull some waves. Be creative about that, but I do think that this Magnus rounds up their draft pretty well.
You also mentioned earlier about how if they play the Darkseer combo with the Jakiro, it's going to be very nice to get the vacuum into Ice Path. Now they have RP into Ice Path for further control and damage. I like the Magnus pick at the very end. Do you like it enough to give them a 2-0 on the side of Team Liquid versus VIRTUS.PRO? Because VIRTUS.PRO's lineup is, I think it's okay, pretty decent. It does allow them to do a little bit more than last game around. It allows them to fight more cohesively. But as we get into game number 2 here, Kezu, who is taking it? Team Liquid 2-0 or VP making it a 1-1?
I like both drafts, and I feel that VP are going to be in a similar position where they're going to win their mid lane, they're going to win their safe lane. But I have to favor, from what I've seen, I just have to favor Liquid, at least slightly.
Yeah. I will say Liquid has been very impressive these last few days, making me regret a little bit not putting them in my prediction in the Battle Pass, but we'll see how this game goes, as they are now smoked up. Whilst they're doing so, let's get our predictions out of the way. Total blinks at 25, 2? I think that's fair.
I don't know. It's either 2 or 3. As
Oh god, Boxy.
Mr. Boxy.
Very, very dead. Well, who's getting the first blood? They're giving it to GPK. Isn't this the third game in the last 2 days where we've seen Alina get her first blood in this mid lane?
Yeah. And this is not really... It's always rough to have it in these mid matches, but especially like the Linas, the Queen of Pains, you know, these lane dominating heroes. Giving first blood to them is... Yeah, it's troublesome, to say the least.
Okay, before this game starts, team with the first tower kill. Liquid
I go
VP.
VP.
I go VP as well. Number of smoke gangs at the end of the game.
I'm not sure. I'm throwing out a random. So I clicked on 5 to 8, so that's going to be my number.
All right, I'll steal yours. And then total number of trees destroyed by minute 30. We don't have Tombstone, we don't have anything. We only have like what, LSA and Firefly, so 51 to 175.
Yeah, I think that's good. All right, nice job.
All righty. And we did it just in time. As the horn sounds, as the game gets going. VP versus Team Liquid. We've already had our first blood. You know, sometimes I like it when these first bloods happen. It feels like it takes pressure off of people. So now you don't have to... If you're playing in the lane, you can just play the lane, not being like, oh god, I'm about to make a mistake and feed so much gold.
It's good to help people feel a little bit better if they do end up dying, especially in these tense games. Something for this early game that I want to point out is that we're going to need to keep some eyes on Boxy, I think, because the bottom lane is not too easy for them to play, which means what he should be looking for at some point is to rotate into the mid lane. It's Queen versus Lina, so a lane where they both harass each other a lot, and I think Queen can definitely benefit from some of these gangs there. And because top lane is going to be very farm tradey. You have Lifestealer versus Bad. So in the meantime, Boxy again going to go for some wave pulling. And similarly to the last game, Hakoda is going to try to just meet the waves.
Yeah. Hakoda is just going to try to do his best to ensure that as much advantage can accrue towards Ramses as humanly possible. Boxy already on it with the big wraparound, just making things as annoying as humanly possible. But it's still just going to be mostly a farm situation that happens here. Pause. We've been actually very lucky here on the stream. We haven't gotten many pauses. I think we had like one.
We're instantly back in the game. You're right.
This is so good. I'm not used to this, honestly.
I mean, it's always nice when games just happen smoothly. You know, everything is going according to plan. No, yeah, I've been in these pub games. You just wait 30 minutes and you're like, yeah, come on, man, you just want to play Dota. So luckily for us, we're blessed. We get to watch nice Dota. No pauses here.
Get to watch this DM Batrider, who ostensibly is going to have deeper impact into this particular game. It's not, like you said, it's just not going to be a situation where anybody realistically should find themselves getting killed in the top lane. Just trade farm, trade farm, trade farm, trade farm. Unless Jakiro is out of position, everybody else should by and large be okay.
Yeah.
What timing?
GPK is definitely pulling ahead middle, and I'm not really surprised for now, you know, with the first blood in the bottle, having it earlier. He's going to be doing well in this lane. He needs to be aware of these tiny rotations later in the game. He has to be at a high HP nearly at all times, at least if the tiny is missing off of the map.
We have a decent-ish ward, but it does expire in 2 minutes, so the calls will have to come from the bottom lane the moment that Boxy is not in range anymore. As long as he can keep Boxy away from him, he should be fine. And the longer time goes on, the more it does feel like his laning phase gets better and better. Actually catches the LSL onto Mika. Will force him to retreat pretty deep in. Is he going to chase for this? He is.
Very fire.
Oh my god, he gets the kill. Solo kill from GPK in the mid lane onto Mika. That's even better than beating him in CS. Now you're farming him. Yeah. And again, like you say.
Second game in a row. GPK gonna go for a little trade here. Make sure he spends his gold. Gonna come back to the lane ASAP when he comes back. This is pretty nice because had he not done this, I think when Mickey comes back here, which of course he will just out CS him for a bit. So instead, gonna spend his gold, come back with full resources in a bottle, and then just continue the pressure.
Yep. Just keep the pressure up. Not allow Mike to play a standard game of Dota. Speaking of Mike, actually, we see bottom. It's actually a little bit of aggression here happening with, funnily enough, the hero I wanted to talk about, this Disruptor. We know that when Disruptor is having a decent enough game and gets the early level 6, it can make Queen of Pain's life a living hell. If they get the Aghanim Scepter on this Disruptor hero at some point, is there a counterplay option available from Team Liquid?
Not really, other than being very aware of it and trying to make sure that you get the jump on them so that it's not so easy for the Disruptor to just like chill and then throw the spells out as he wants to, as now we have a little bit of a play on these water runes.
Yamich came to join GPK here as Insania was scouting the top water rune, but it looks like he's going to be giving away a kill. Yamich has access to the ice shards, not even going to need them, as they are able to bring down the Jakiro. Grinsing yet another kill towards GPK. He's on a young 3 kill at the first 4 minutes of this game here, Kezu. Great start to the proceedings for Lina.
I mean, this is exactly what you want, especially with what happened in the last game where, you know, maybe you threw the game away with in a situation that left a little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth. Like now you go into the next game, you slap your opponents a little bit. It's gonna feel good. Bottom lane, a little
you see them
skewer back.
Not enough damage being done though, unfortunately. But Zai will end up tanking a Chaos Bolt for himself. They're trying to get the toss back onto Hakoda. Zai will have skew in another 5 seconds once again, but Hakoda able to get back in position. So this should be fine. And this is a little bit lower than I'd like to see though, Kobe, if I'm honest. So I'm a bit worried about him. He gets himself shockwaves back into the Avalanche, and yeah, that's going to lead into a kill. Hakoda also going to die to Boxy. Gets a double kill out of this. That was a little bit forward-facing from Ramses. Didn't like leave the lane. There was a small window when you could have. They decided to play around a little bit, and they get pretty hard punished by Zai and Boxy in this lane.
A really sick plays by Liquid. The fact that they can apply so much pressure in this lane is something that honestly I didn't really expect, but with some cool plays where you can maybe get a toss into a skewer, which is what kind of started this whole play. Is you skewer the Seeker into the fountain, he drops low HP, then you keep fighting, you keep running at them. Ramses with a little bit of a misstep, lingering around too long, and then suddenly a double kill, plus you force the Tusk to come there. That is huge in this like matchup in the bottom lane.
Pretty big deal. That's going to open up space elsewhere on the map as well.
Radiant's bottom tower
Ramses
is under
sees back.
attack.
He's trying to farm this out. Middle though, Boxy. There's a contestation around this action rune, and Boxy are trying to secure it for his team. Instead, he might have just secured another kill for GPK. The eye shots have already expired, but unfortunately for him, a Coda is on him. Kinetic field is up in a couple of seconds. I think they just want to make sure, if you're Boxy, that GPK is not the one that gets this kill. He has to know that he's dead, though. There's no way out of this one, my friend.
Oh, absolutely.
And GPK actually doesn't get the Dragon Slayer.
At this point, like, stop. It's after hurting my eyes. It's nice that you try, but, you know, at some point, it's fine. Anyway, nice play, you know, from both sides. They're playing around the active runes. Boxy kind of knows that, they probably have vision here, but he made sure that Alina didn't get the rune. VP coming around mid, trying to help Alina.
Middle though. The Luna Blade. Mike is in some danger. Gets off a Sonic Wave though onto 2. GPK is suddenly the one that's fallen so low. Boxy comes in with the Avalanche. Who are they tossing back? Insania gets an incredible 3-hero dual breath. And they will be able to kill all 3 of them. A double kill for the Jakiro. 3 heroes brought down. Mike is still alive at the end of it. And of course the tips start raining in.
Radiant's top tower
That
is under
was
attack.
a very well-deserved tip into an XD. Sometimes you just gotta love Dota and these type of matchups where, yeah, I think these two teams, they like each other, you know, tipping each other here and there. Beautiful plays from both sides, really. Maybe even getting a little too aggressive bottom. So it's just gonna die in the meantime.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite get off the RP, but going back a little bit to the mid play, the Sonic Wave is just so strong in the early game. You deal so much pure damage and you push back your enemies.
Dire's
And yeah,
bottom
Liquid just turn it
tower is
around
under
there.
attack.
Beautiful play from Liquid. Yet again, we're seeing that no matter how much of an advantage you gain against them early, this iteration of the team doesn't like giving up. They'll try and make something happen. Of course, there's a punish down bottom onto Zai that we just saw, given that they knew he had no allies nearby him. But he's okay with that. Okay, cool, whatever. My team is getting so much elsewhere that we can brook the situation. Now the question is, are they going to try kill Ramses? Yeah, he's dead. He's so dead. RP, here comes the Avalanche. Toss, and they got the skewer back just to make sure that they can elongate the amount of time for the right clicks. At the same time, here comes Insania. Will they need him? They will not. Zai has the shockwave available, and they will be able to find Ramses. You were saying earlier that he wasn't able to get off the RP. Now I'm sure that Zai's like, whew, I'm glad I didn't get that one off. I can use the next one to
Yeah,
kill the CK.
absolutely. He's super glad that this happens. As Insania, he's gonna walk off the ice shards. Without the RP there, they're of course not killing Ramses, as Boxy is fishing for something. Being a little bit aggressive, but again, I must...
Radiant's bottom
VIRTUS.PRO,
tower
you're
is under
winning your
attack.
lanes so commandingly, and then they're just giving up some freebies here and there. Ramses doesn't really have business dying in the bottom lane, and the mid play before too, they need to, again, take a deep breath and, you know, get back into this game properly at bottom.
Radiant's
Let's
bottom
see if they're going to find a kill for Ramses this time around. And Zai is going to be the priority target. They don't have the damage just yet. Zai gets slips back. They finally stun him up. GKK will show up, and he's the one that's going to provide the damage with the Sonic Wave. Coming in from Mike, he's also made a rotation. They haven't even been able to kill Zai just yet. Lasso going out onto Matumba man. Mike getting zoned back by GPK. GPK won't be allowed to get the kill because the infest from Matu ensures that Mike has the HP. And now Boxy looking towards DM deeper in the lane. They've caught him, they've surrounded him, they've corralled him, and they're certainly going to kill him. And when DM falls, he's going to be giving away another kill towards the side of Team Liquid. On the bright side though, Ramses and Yamish were able to chase Mike all the way towards the tier 1 tower in the mid lane, and there they will eventually kill him. But that's 3 for 1. That's Mike surviving for so long that he drew away all of GPK's attention, most of Ramses' time, and that just gave so much freedom to Team Liquid to take the rest of the fight.
And that was just amazing once again. First off, a nice snowball to like try and save a bit, but then they end up pretty deep. Mike runs over, beautiful Sonic Wave, probably done like 1,000 damage, push people back, and then Matu coming in clutch towards the end too with the infest, like saving Mike so that he can continue to fight and then blink out again. Like if you look at Liquid, it doesn't matter how much HP they have. If they even have 1 HP and they feel like they can commit to the fight, they will come and they trust their teammates. It is really beautiful to see. Whereas VIRTUS.PRO, it feels like they're playing very reactionary. They're trying a little bit too hard to make some things happen that perhaps they don't have too much business trying to do.
The middle lane, Boxy will find himself a nice little target here. They toss back GPK towards Mike. Mike will have to retreat from this because GPK got up the Laguna and the LSA. Ramses also shows up. Had the lingering damage coming in from the Phantasm Illusions and a DD, so utilizes them both to kill Boxy. I mean, they're okay with this. It's still rotations towards middle, but for VP, you were mentioning it earlier, right? That they are so good at being able to win out these lanes. What do you think keeps happening where as soon as the laning phase does break down and we get into this early mid game, why do they struggle so much to cohesively take these team fights?
I feel like their first moves are... Perhaps they're not well set up. It's a bit too reactionary, or they're trying a little too hard to force it aggressively as DM. It's just gonna walk it off with a Firefly for now, even going aggressively on Insania.
Okay, this is a bit much. Insania should end up dying here, but I'm not sure if this was worth it because there's no way Tino gets out of this one himself. Will end up dead. Mike not gonna take the chance with these creeps. We'll just throw in the Sonic Wave. And that's gonna be a kill onto DM. They smoke immediately. They're gonna go fight. But they were scouted. They could observe watch here.
Radiant are scanning.
Okay, so they smoked themselves with the two supports here on VP. I mean, they want to protect GPK. He's very low.
Not in the best place, so don't take this chance. Zai still just gonna skirt on over, see who's available. Would be nice to find an RP to skewer through the mid lane. You're seeing that the smoke isn't popping just yet. Now they recognize that damage is out. Shockwave into Avalanche, into Skewer. This combo, man. They missed the Ice Path follow up from Insania, but it's not going to matter. Why don't Shockwave drag you back, Kizu? Please explain to me.
Are fortified.
Yeah, that's a good question, sir. Maybe I need to message Mr. Ice Frog. I mean, to be fair, I like some of these implementations. Also, Tumblr's toy is helping him a lot in that play to reach the skewer. And when he ran in, the tier 1 tower actually hit him in the tree line. So if they paid close attention, Liquid should know about this high ground ward to the right of the tier 1 tower, the Radiant jungle, that they can potentially deward, as now there's a pause. They probably forgot or maybe didn't fully realize it now since they were going for a play. But yeah, mid tier 1 falling, Matu top of the net worth. He has Empower with him. They should be feeling pretty good.
It's kind of crazy that he's been top of the net worth without even spending that much time near the Magnus, right? He's been primarily playing on a different part of the map. So when he starts to get the free Empower all the time, he's only gotten it like 2-3 times. It gets scary. It gets really scary. And the build that he's going for here will allow him, anytime he gets onto a target, to just chomp them down very, very quickly. Between the Sonic Wave, pure damage, some of the magic damage coming in from the Jakiro and the Tiny, and the physical output from the Matu Lifestealer beefed up by the Magnus, this is a very nice spread of damage actually from the side of Team Liquid. It's very nice and balanced all across the board.
Yeah, they have all of it really. And Lina's the type of hero that she hates a few different things. First of all, she hates being jumped, which Liquid have multiple sources of doing so with Tiny and Queen of Pain. And of course, Lifestealer can, you know, join that little gang straight away with Infest. And she hates high physical damage. And Matu, he's gonna have that with Empower, with Desolator. Lina is a very low armor hero naturally, and you don't really like building those armor items. So as this game progresses, it's definitely gonna be slightly better for Liquid. So VP, they kind of need to look to perhaps shut down these timings a bit. I like what they're trying to do right now, where the Disruptor and CK are hiding bottom to potentially try and get a kill on Matu. It could catch him off guard, especially with this pause. And then later, it's gonna be a lot about DM to find good lassos in this game. That is how they need to start their fights.
Trying to get the unpause now. RP. Zai catching 2 heroes with the RP. Are you kidding me? Zai! It's only a game, my friend. It's no good attempt for Yamish to try and stay alive. And the attempt will be denied by Zai again. Him and the crew end up getting that kill as well. The lack of hesitation from the Zai Magnus has just been phenomenal to watch. Every single time that he goes to this RP or for any kind of initiation, he just goes straight for it. And yet again, we see the utilization of that Tumblr's toy, man. He gets a perfect jump in. And the GPK and the crew, I don't think they expected Zai to jump them as quickly as they did. And they probably didn't expect there to already be this observer ward scouting them out on this side of the map.
Yeah, it didn't even... I mean, Zai just poked out into the Radiant Triangle with his tankiness of the Vanguard, I guess, and then what, they ran up the high ground into him, and he just took it straight away. As you said, no hesitation. Spell combo, pulled him into Insania, and there you go. Double kill.
Oh. Top lane is where the next set of players seems like it's going to be. VP want to make a go for this. Team Liquid are sort of positioned to defend this, but they don't have access to the RP. Do they want to try for this? DM has his own tumbler, so they're able to get forward. Finding Zai, Static Storm will be there. Matu TP it into it. But yet again, the Infest plays come in. Not going to be able to keep him alive, but it will spend a lot of time with GPK trying to kill the Magnus, so he's not prepared for the counterplay coming in from Team Liquid. Zai trades his life for the opposing mid laner, but as you've mentioned so many times, when you play Lina mid, Lina's the actual carry, so you've taken down their core. They're coming middle as well. They really want to Ramses. They don't get you in time. But what a play! In the top side of the map, mid lane, the one to get caught instead will be Yamich, giving a killing spree towards Mike. It feels like Team Liquid are everywhere here, Kezu. How on earth are VP allowed to play Dota?
I mean, Liquid are just too fast. Even now, look on Ramsey. He's getting slowed by the Witchblade and Lance of Pursuit. And he's just
Yep.
That's another one.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess to go back to the tier 1 top tower, it's a bit of a similar story as last game. You're very close to Lina's BKB, but you run at a tier 1 tower. Full TP by Matu as well. Pop the rage during the TP. Comes in with the Infest to make more time as Disruptor nearly dies during the TP out. And still, like, look at the spread of Liquid's heroes. One hero top. Matu is strong enough to push in this lane on his own. You have Zai doing a bottom, and 3 people already connecting to Zai playing here, and they're currently shoving in all the lanes. Like, look at their map control right now.
Yep. They're shoving in all the lanes. They have all 3 of their tier 1 towers here at the 16-minute mark. Most of them also in some fairly healthy stead. Kind of difficult to imagine how VP is supposed to reclaim map control of themselves, especially with how much easier it seems it is for Team Liquid to get these kills versus what VIRTUS.PRO is able to accomplish.
Middle tower is under attack.
DK also has access yet again to the Sonic Wave, but he's about to get the level 2 wave. After they get level 2 Sonic Wave plus this BKB, then they can just, feels like they just go anywhere, and there's pretty much nothing VP can do to stop them anywhere on the map right now. Interesting static spot. Okay.
Just once again, it's always good to know that your spells do indeed work. And by the way, you were saying that Liquid are playing fast, right? They just picked up 2 Blink Daggers and a Desolator. They did all of this fast tempo play without any blinks. Now they have 2 of them with an infested, empowered, armlet Desolator Nakes at 16 minutes into the game.
Let's go. Team Liquid playing some fair Dota. We're gonna get DPK. DPK go on. Get over BKB though. Glimpse back. Matu. Here comes Zai jumping in. RP and Matu. They kill him through the BKB, Kezu. It doesn't matter to them. And now Ramses doing his best to try and run away. Sonic Wave pushes him back into the ice path, in fact, and they'll be able to isolate him away from his illusions. Kill him as well. Foxy is the one credited with that one. And that's going to be a tier 2 tower falling shortly thereafter. Kezu, this is something else. This is Team Liquid showing us that they will accept nothing less than the top of the group in group number B here at the last chance qualifiers.
I mean, to be real, this is Team Liquid smurfing in the LCQ as Tusk trying to get all the people make it as Matu is the first to DP in. I have to say, like, how beautiful is this play? They get their 2 blinks, they smoke up. But mind you, how they do it. Matu is not infesting the Magnus, he's infesting the Tiny. They go in first. If Lina gets the BKB off, Zai just gets to chill, hands off keyboard. Once the BKB is popped, all he has to do, blink up to Lina, he's dead. It's beautiful.
Oh, just perfect. Perfect play. Well, Team Liquid right now in a situation and in a position where they are in a dominant control of most of the map. Gaben says they have a 94% chance of victory, as they are starting to push down into the tier 2 tower in this bottom lane. Mentioned earlier that they were just taking full control of this jungle. They have. Once they get to tier 2, they can get the outpost too. I love how VP have to commit 4 heroes now to the top lane to still claim this tier 1 tower. They're not trading for a tier 2. They're not getting deeper in the jungle to plant aggressive wars. They're just getting a tier 1, and then they have to get out still, just given the way that this game is going.
So what's going to happen now in the next coming minutes is that Liquid's next objective right after this tier 2 tower is to take the outpost, put the map in a good state, and then smoke across the map and soon play for Roche. There's 2 ways you can do this. You either smoke right away and you go across the map, or you force them back. But what VP are doing right now is actually a pretty base play. You're very far behind in the game. If you just do nothing, Liquid will take this road. So taking a risk here to try and take it away from them, this is huge. But will they get away with it?
The fact they'll at least get the Aegis. Whether they'll get away with it, I don't know. Fight might still happen. Boxy looking like he wants to go in, able to get him onto the Disruptor. In the meantime, RP went onto the Batrider. Sonic Wave does come across 3 heroes. There is a Latsu onto the Matumba Man, Lifestealer, and GPK turns onto him with the BKB, and they are able to kill him. Ramses armlet toggling to victory as they are able to kill Zai. Ramses does end up taking a tumble. GPK's first life is taken. Now they are trying to surround the stragglers in this fight. Yamich, he gets taken out as well. Glimpse back from Insania right next to Hakoda. The Ice Sword will not help to protect him, and they will be able to kill him. Boxy does have access to this new combo. He utilizes it to hold GPK in position, letting Mike get the cleanup. And now the only hero left to flee is Hakoda. He's been abandoned by DM. Mike gets a double kill. Another massive teamfight victory for Team Liquid. Yes, it does cost them the life of Zai, the life of the Matumba Man Lifestealer, but they also are allowed to take away the Aegis that VP struggled so hard to get just now.
Yeah, I mean, good job by Liquid to still take that fight afterwards and realizing that they can. But this was by far the best play that VP had in their book. Yeah, you did lose a couple heroes, but you got to trade. You basically denied the Aegis from Liquid, and it still shows them, okay, we can take fights. And I need to note what GPK is buying. He's going for a Desolator. They can still win fights. I think what they want to do now is wait for Batrider's blink, let Lina get this Desolator, and then try to all in a hero.
We see here, maybe the one thing that this fight could have done better, if Zai had been able to get multiple heroes caught in the RP, might have been easier for them to wrangle, but Yamich also bought so much time with the snowballs.
Yeah.
Between himself and DM, they just kept delaying, forcing Matu into an awkward position. Rage has to end eventually, and when it does, he finally does actually end up dying here. It's a little bit unfortunate that you gave Mike so much gold because he was alive for all of these kills, got a ton of experience out of it, but when you're this far behind, you'll just take anything you can get on the map.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Queen of Pain is just so strong in these extended fights, right? Multiple daggers, clearing Stream of Pains, and then the Witchblade, continuous bonus damage with the slow also ticking in. So like once you run out of BKBs, you're not really gonna get to run away from these heroes, right? They're just gonna chase you down. As they're pinging Ramses top right now, but Yamich has a pretty cool position up here.
Speaking of BKBs, we do have Ramsey is getting very, very close to picking up his own one. Just needs the recipe at this point, then he'll have the item. Oh, Lina, like you mentioned. Oh wait, is that a glimpse?
Well, I tried.
Okay. That was close. That was interesting. That was close. But it's
got the courier, smoke, broke the smoke and TP'd out. Nice job by Yamich. So now, one of the small things I was talking about. So DM does actually have a blink now, which gives them a way to break the game in a way that they can actually initiate. So if they can initiate on a hero, and then hit him down with the Lina's Desolator, they can actually win fights. And DM is picking out Lifestealer because he's saying, well, we need to start on this guy. I need to blink in, last him with my BKB, and hopefully he dies and you guys don't get 5-man RP'd. So when they drag him in, they're gonna drop the Static Storm on top of Nick so that Zai cannot counterplay it.
We will see them trying to reveal said Blink Dagger right now. As you said, they want to try and make this play as soon as humanly possible. They are going to jump onto the Jakiro. Nice Hakoda Static Storm here, allowing them to kill Insania first. However, Ramses is very low. DM does get a lasso, but it's not going to help them too much. And they have now lost Hakoda. Ramses playing 1v1 versus Matumba Man as GPK ends up losing his life towards Mike on the back end of the fight.
No!
And Team Liquid, despite them being the ones that are surprised by this one, they just have too much damage. These heroes die too quickly. They clean up Boxy. They clean up Yamich with Boxy and Mike towards the mid lane as well. Again, another Neutronic wave from Mike.
Do you know what happened to the lasso?
Did it get cancelled? What happened?
Yeah, so the glimpse was on Magnus and he lasted him at the same time, and because the distance was too high, it broke it. I don't know if it would have changed the fight, but that is yeah, not quite ideal. As now Liquid, they're taking a Rax. Once again, I really love Zai's itemization. He's been playing very well these past days as well from what I can see. The CM has a BT, might be forced to use it.
He does have BKB TP. He can still die here. Woo. Fortunately for him, they've already committed the Sonic Wave earlier on. Yamich won't be as lucky though, as he ends up dying here in this mid lane. Dakota did get a glimpse back onto Zai. Zai does throw out the RP. There's going to be a Chaos Storm being thrown in. Another save coming in from Matu, but it's not going to be good enough. GPK there with the Deso hits, and they're finally able to bring down Zai. Buyback was there from Yamich, so they want to chase forward. Limmercade was supposed to protect Matu, but they still have the vision. They glimpse him back into the LSA. Do they have the damage to kill him? Yes, they do. He's supposed to buy a BKB, in fact. Insania drops an ice pod to try and protect his ally, as Boxy really wants Ramses. Gonna get Ramses. So even though he died, it's well worth it at the end of the day. Insania also about to take a tumble.
That was hot.
But getting Ramses out of this, you have lost 4. Awkward place to be for the side of Team Liquid. But even when VP things are going right for them, still somehow something will end up going wrong.
Yeah, Ramsey still ended up dying there. They dealt a ton of damage. Like, look at this Desolator on GPK, really being put into work here. Now, Liquid, they split up a bit. Then they got caught mid with the glimpse. And they bring them back there, as we're also going to see in the replay.
There's so much damage.
What happened to the RP here? Wait, so did he use it?
So he used it at the same time as like Reality Rift was happening.
Interesting. That's also a pretty cool interaction.
Very bizarre. Dota is one of these lovely games where there's so many things we learn about in real time. But Matu...
Yeah, I didn't even know that was possible. And then the glimpse with the chase back. And now once you lose your formation, VP still have a ton of damage in their books. Still a really sick play by Boxy to understand, yeah, I'm not running away. I'm going to run into you, and I'm going to take Ramses with me into the grid.
I actually can't believe what a big brain play that was to pull that off. And now he's actually going top again. Boxy bringing in another passenger. Matu doesn't have a basher, though. However, this BKB will not last forever. GPK needs to get out of this. He's been tossed back. He's been killed. Boxy is just on it today, as Matu able to trump down Yamich, who threw his BKB. Thank you very much for buying the item, he thinks to himself. This is... wow, okay. This is very, very disheartening that they can just jump you at any time, and now they've also jumped Ramses. He doesn't have his BKB just yet. He's 100 gold shy of getting this, Kezu, but now he's been reset even further away. That is just the saddest thing ever. Ramsey's having a very rough day at the office. That's his 8th death this game. And Zai just not allowing him to play Dota. Between himself and Boxy, Ramsey just feels like he's just being tossed about, skewered this way and that every single fight.
Yeah, I mean, they're just toying with him. It's like he's a little pinball and they're deciding like where you're going to end up. Like with Boxy's items as well. Blink, Force, Drums, you know, just fast gameplay, helping out his team. It's not too often you see your carry and mid sharing 8 and 9 deaths each. But Team Liquid, they're just not letting you have an easy game here at all.
Ramses still has to try and figure out a way to get this BKB. GPK at the point where even with his BKB, it hasn't really helped him. He's now down to 6 seconds, so the immunity, not nearly what it used to be just a moment ago.
Dire are scanning.
So what's the counterplay here? So we're at a point in the game now where Team Liquid feels like they can just do whatever the hell they want. Yeah. Is there an item that they can buy on the side of VP that allows them to try and change that status quo? The Blink didn't necessarily help them with DM. Yes, I think, what does he need? Maybe a 4-star for something extra? Does somebody need an Aeon Disc? Do we need an Ags on Disruptor? What's up?
Yeah, so he's going for a lens right now, which should help. It's still the same. They need to catch Matu first and then drop the static under to kill him. But the problem is, how are you ever getting this option if this guy is just sitting in another hero with Infest, right? So it's not the easiest thing for them to execute. I guess they can try to pull in Mickey, drop a static storm under so that Mickey has no counterplay. Sorry, that Sai has no counterplay with the RP. But then I'm afraid that Matu just gets to run in with Rage and infest Mickey to keep him alive. But they need to find a way and enable DM to have a solid initiation. There is nothing else. At least not for now.
Woke up, coming in from the side of VP. Has a little bit of a smattering of desperation, but they will find Insania first. Somebody that'll die in a heartbeat, and that won't allow for the counterplay from Liquid. It's one of the few games where killing the 5 position is probably the best case scenario. Where you can't get like re-jumped on by Zai, so at least they can reclaim their outposts, get control of the triangle again, or reclaim the triangle rather, get some vision up here. Need to wait for this next Roshan. They were able to steal the last one away. Should they try again to contest for the second one?
They have to. Yeah, I really think that they do need to do it as mid. Looking for a glimpse onto Boxy.
get him, but I don't know about this one. Nice static storm, preventing Zai from throwing out the RP, and they should be able to kill him here unless Matu will be able to save him through his own DKB, and indeed he does with the Infest play. Suddenly Ramses has to turn around and run. They're able to chop down Hakoda. Ramses, can he juke Matu? No, he cannot. Here deeper into the fight, DM also has his BKB trying to TP himself away, but this time around they have the Sonic Wave and they will not allow him to escape. Yamich, nice snowball blink play deeper into the river, but Insania is there. Tumbler Sway usage allows him to dodge the dual breath, so he's still alive for now. They pop drums though. They really want this kill. They will be able to find this chase. Boxy's on him with Mickey, and they give him a beyond godlike streak on the Queen of Pain. 11, 2, and 13 here in game number 2. And with 4 heroes dead, nothing will stop Team Liquid from claiming yet another lane of racks.
My god. Is this the third game today where Mickey is beyond godlike? It's at least the second. Honestly, it might be the third.
Might be the fourth, because she was godlike.
Oh yeah, maybe I'm tripping it. But with that being said, second racks is... I mean, this ranks is gone. There's not much you're gonna do about that. Rage used. Will they have any casualties on the way out?
They're trying to aim for Boxy, but he's carrying some valuable cargo that I'm not sure VP want to open. So they will allow him to escape.
They don't.
Oh, it's 2 lanes gone. VP, this is it. How many times have you seen this in your life, Kezu? This here smoke, the one that if it fails, you call GG. They know us.
It's the pub smoke. The go smoke one time, then let it in.
Let's see, they end up losing Yamich first and foremost. Matu pops out, chops down Hakoda, and now they turn their attention back onto Ramses. He pops the BKB, but to what avail? Even Mike's right clicks are just way too much for him right now. And as he dies, north of the fight, we do see Zai. At the very least, he will fall to the right click damage of GPK, but now GPK no longer has a BKB, no longer has a life, and VP no longer have a say in this game as they call GG, throw in the towel, and grant Team Liquid the 2-0 victory and grant Team Liquid the #1 slot in group number B.
Damn, Liquid are like what, 8-2 now? They look phenomenal in every game that I see them. They just play really well. Their picks are on point, item builds. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but they just make enemy teams look like fools. Like really, like VP don't look like themselves when they're playing this team. I do feel like they're kind of their own enemies, but at the same time, Liquid just playing... They're good. They're playing really hot right now.
I mean, it's one of these things where there are squads, we've seen VP in the past have issues with mentality, but it requires a team good enough to force you into those negative mindsets, to force you into making mistakes, to make the game so difficult and complicated that you can't play your natural, normal, comfortable game style. Because whenever they are allowed to play that way,
Your turn to ban. Five seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I spread my wings over scene.
Prepare for battle.
Indeed. I roam. Swoop the battle. My thanks.
Блин, ты очень умно придумал.
On leathern wings.
Oh, this guy has no chill, man.
30 seconds to battle.
I fly.
Блин, ты очень умно придумал.
Thrust ahead. I fly into a rage. I fly the nest with malicious intent. Forward. Yes. I glide on.
Forget it.
Swiftly denied. I press. on. Swoop the battle. Poison burn. My flight muscles bulge. Indeed. Unleathern wings. I roam. Oh, die! On my way to a one-bite kill with malicious intent. First blood. I fly into a rage. I fly. Forward. Gliding in. Overseen. There are better deaths. Yes. Feel the pain. My fangs drip. Thrust ahead. Swiftly. Unleathern wings. Swoop the battle. Forward. Thrust ahead. Sweet salivation. I roam. Indeed. I glide on. Swiftly. With malicious intent. Yes.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Overseen. Death from above. Gliding in. Attack. I fly into a rage. I glide on. Here's poison in your eye. I'm under attack! Unleathern wings. Forward. Spitting distance. Swiftly. Here's poison in your eye. Sweet salivation. Attack. Overseen. I roam. Feel the burn. Indeed. Thrust. A flight of fancy. Spitting distance. My fangs drip.
Блин, ты очень умно придумал.
Strike. Death to you. I fly. Gliding in. Close, but not quite. Viperous. Swoop the battle. Yes. Poison burn. I fly into a rage. Regeneration. Oh, dive. Beat your end. Spitting distance. My fangs sharpen. Strike. With malicious intent. Swiftly. I fly. Poison burn. Indeed. Overseen.
Dire's structures are fortified.
No. Golden cargo. On leathern wings. Thrust ahead. Forward. I'm under attack! I glide on. Swoop. Battle. Oh, die! I roam. Yes. I fly into a rage. With malicious intent. With malicious intent. Forward. Soar higher. Mine. On leathern wings. I fly into a rage. Attack! Thrust ahead. Feel the pain. I roam. Swoop the battle.
Enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Viperous. Swiftly. Sweet acceleration. Indeed. Generation! Here's poison in your eye. My fangs drip. I glide on. Over sea. Right. Golden cargo. Feel the burn. Gliding in. With malicious intent. Life ends.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
I take
Your middle tower is under attack.
I roam. Spitting distance. Invisibility. Swoop the battle. Swiftly. Indeed. On leathern wings. Away.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
I glide. I'm under attack! Overseen. Thrust ahead. I fly into a rage. Here's poison in your eye. I fly. Sweet salivation.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Forward. I fly into a rage. Overseen. On leathern wings. I fly. I roam.
The enemy's top tower has fallen.
Dead. The assassins never die. Lighting in. Just fade away.
Splinters at my touch.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Indeed.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Your middle tower is under attack.
Triple kill!
My target all along.
Your middle tower is under attack.
From the nether reaches, I return. I fly on. Unseen. Swoop this. The battle. Swoop the battle. Indeed. With malicious intent. Swiftly. On leathern wings. I fly. Yes.
Bounty!
I fly into a rage.
Get some! Double tap!
Sing.
I see for you. You're full of death.
Come and get it!
Dire's structures are fortified.
Invisibility.
I spread my wings anew. glide on. Mine. There are better deaths. Oh, dive! I roam. Poison burn! My poison concentrates. Gliding in. I fly into a rage. Overseen. Gliding in.
Growth mountain.
Viperous. Sweet salivation. I glide on. On brethren wings. I roam. Forward. Yes. With malicious intent.
Turn up the tremble.
Swoop the battle. Ahead. Indeed. I fly. My fangs sharpen. I fly.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Wings. I fly into a rage. Poison burn. Oh, this arrow. Did you wonder what that was like? Here it is. Forward.
A gift from the goddess.
With me. Attack! Yes. I roam. I glide on.
Illusion.
Spitting distance.
Your top tower is under attack.
With malicious intent. Overseen. Indeed. Thrust ahead. Gliding in. I roam.
has fallen. Dire's structures are fortified.
Wings.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Overseen.
Your top tower is under attack.
Poison in your eye. Right. Swiftly.
My thanks.
I will slake my thirst for revenge.
Yes.
Bounty.
Indeed. Be trained. My fangs drip. My
Bounty.
bright muscles bulge. Swoop to battle. Gliding in. Regeneration! It's not done yet. Feel the bang! Hold! Dive! Thrust ahead. Thrust ahead. I fly to a my poison flames its victim. Attack! Forward.
Oh, this guy has no chill left.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Unleavened wings.
Acts like this very much.
Oh, this guy has no chill left.
Let's shake things.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Under attack! I roam.
Блин, ты очень умно придумал.
Indeed. Swiftly. Yes. I glide on. Swoop to battle.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Блин, ты очень умно придумал. Блин, ты очень умно придумал.
next?
Double damage.
Air support arrives.
Killing spree. Triple kill!
Блин, ты очень умно придумал.
Oh, this guy has no chill,
Your
man.
middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Acceleration.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Spinning distance. Swiftly. Yes. Indeed.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower is under attack.
Mine. On leathern wings. Overseen. I fly. My fangs. Forward.
Greetings, my friend.
I roam. I glide on. Not yet. My poison concentrates. Feel that.
Let's get this over with.
Thrust ahead. Gliding in. I fly into a rage. Malicious intent. More for me. With malicious intent. I fly into a rage. I fly. Indeed. Swoop to battle. Overseen. Gliding. Swiftly. I glide on. I roam. Invisibility.
To the fates.
Us.
Use your bone!
on leathern wings. Forward. Overseen. On leathern wings. I roam. Oh, die! Spinning distance. Forward. Thrust ahead. With malicious intent.
Hell's gates swing! My rage returns me to the beginning.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Down.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
I feel a twitch like a snake-bitten mouse. My friend.
The enemy's middle barracks has fallen. Dire's structures are fortified.
Viperous. Gliding in.
The enemy's middle barracks has fallen.
Poison burn. Indeed. I fly into a rage. Gliding in. I fly. Yes. On leathern wings. With malicious intent. I roam. Illusion. Overseen. Forward. Mine. Swoop to battle. Sweet
We are king,
I glide
but
on.
never equal.
I'm under attack! Thrust ahead. Swiftly. I fly into a rage. Indeed.
Your top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Your top tower is under attack.
Thrust ahead.
The enemy's bottom barracks has fallen. Your top tower is under attack.
Look into my
Your top tower is under attack.
My work here is not yet done.
Your top tower has fallen. The enemy's bottom barracks has fallen.
With malicious intent.
tower has fallen.
Here's poison in your eyes.